Hey everyone, it's Don, Captain Cross Stitch here, coming to you today from the new Daylight Savings Time turnover, Sunday, November 2nd. Happy Dios de los Muertos to you if you celebrate that, if you like Mexican holidays. I always try and watch Day of the Dead by George Romero in honor of that sometime today. But anyway, today's episode 24, which is my second anniversary. I've been doing this for 2 years now. Woohoo! That's about as much as I feel about it. Only because I don't have many viewers. I don't get hardly any comments or feedback. And excuse me. Today's episode, once again, brought to you unofficially by Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Baja Blast Tropical Lime. They should send me a check. Anyway, yeah, so I've actually had a downturn in viewership as far as subscribers go. Numbers surged up a little bit and then they went back down, so I don't know what to make of that, but it's a little depressing. I mean, the number isn't really all that important, but the fact that I don't really get any feedback, so I don't know if I should change things or how to make things better. I don't know, but anyway. So my future of doing this is in question. Just letting you know ahead of time. So a quick life update. I'm still unemployed. I've had a few interviews. Still waiting to hear back on a few of those from the last couple weeks. I always think they go well, but then I either hear nothing or get a no thank you. But I'm redoing my resume. I had a one-on-one with a job counselor with Maryland Department of Unemployment. Had a one-on-one on Thursday with a very nice lady, and she suggested that I update my resume. Not that my resume was lacking, but the way it was arranged and the formatting and whatnot was kind of outdated, she said, and the way things were labeled and whatnot needed to change. So I'm getting that done, and then I'm going to send that back to her, and she's going to look it over and make any final recommendations. And then I guess I'll just keep looking. And anyway, health-wise, my finger is still messed up, although it seems to be getting better. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to be straight again, but it seems to be less inflamed, because the knuckle, this knuckle is the one that's messed up. That's the one that broke. But it was redder and more swollen, like the lines in the knuckle, you couldn't even see them before because it was so swollen. And my therapist, a very nice lady named Sue, she seems to think that I am making progress. I'm getting more of a range of motion with it than I had. She's able to bend it and during therapy and whatnot. So And then the only other testing or whatever I had done, I had my annual cardiology appointment a couple weeks ago, and then she had me come in for an echocardiogram, which came back positively normal. So no blockages, none of that, goofy heartbeats, any kind of heart function seems to be normal according to them. So I guess the additional added benefits that some of the medication that I take, like Jardiance, has some beneficial cardiological benefits. So whatever that means. Okay, so the majority of this video is going to be haul, because I did several things in the month of October and I accumulated a butt ton of stuff. Both a majority of it was free and a majority of it was stuff I bought at the Queen City Stitch Retreat, guest starring Nora Corbett of Mirabilia and Nora Corbett Designs. She was the guest of honor, and I'll talk about that a little bit. And I also attended a church event with, it was an afternoon of stitching with, basically it was a fundraiser, and we got to sit around and stitch, and people brought stuff they wanted to, if they wanted to get rid of, we could trade it off or put it out and let people pick through it, and et cetera, et cetera. So so I got some stuff from that, and then my normal purchases that I made sometime during the month. So anyway, without further ado, we'll get it started. And I'm doing this in a particular order because it's basically how I have it piled up, just to make it easy. So I may weave in and out of haul into other things and then back into haul. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready for a bunch of stuff. So this is one of my more recent purchases from 123 Stitch. I got this the day after I made my previous video, so I was hoping to have gotten it in on that video, but I didn't get it in time. So anyway, so this is number 10 in the Snowman Collector series from Cottage Garden Samplers. This is the Countryman, so he's a farmer essentially. And then from JetX Stitch, I got the Cherry Magpie. I think that's so cool. And then from Joan Elliott Designs, this is called Celtic Twilight. So there wasn't much in that purchase because the bulk of that purchase was, I got a bunch of specialty flosses for kitting up some other projects that I want to get started eventually. I bought a bunch of, what do they call it? The whisper threads. I think that's what they're called. I don't have it handy, or I'd show it to you. And then some other, Caron water lilies and that kind of thing. Okay, some stuff I got from the church event that I went to earlier in October. These were all from a freebie table. This is from Fancy That. It's a nice fall design and a scarecrow on a fence with some pumpkins. And then the rest of these are just magazines, but I just thought they might have something worth doing. So this is little projects you can do. Lovable Pets by Linda Gillum. It's got a whole bunch of little quick stitches that you could do for a pet lover in your life. Stony Creek is one of my favorites. I love getting, if I can ever find copies of their magazine, I always grab them up. I think that butterfly on there. And then another butterfly. Caught my eye. One of these oversized British magazines. And then I also got 2 pieces of fabric for free, which was pretty cool. I got a piece of 16 count Star Sapphire. I don't know who the manufacturer is. I'd have to look that up and see if I can find it. But it's a nice like a pale blue, like a pale slate blue, I guess. I'm not sure. And then I got another, and this is a 14 count blue waiting Ada. I'm not sure who the manufacturer is on that either. And then here I got a new project bag from a lady that I buy from semi-regularly. But it's handmade by Daisy Tolson. Yeah, she makes some very pretty bags. I've got a few of them, but I couldn't pass up the Cardinals. So it's a vinyl front with a zipper. And same fabric on the back. Okay, now we're going to get into stuff that I picked up at the Queen City retreat. So, it was a lovely event. compared to the Grace Notes retreat that I've been to, every single one of those so far. In some ways, Queen City was better, but in other ways, Grace Notes is better. So at Queen City, organized by Amy, Fiber Arts Amy on Floss Tube, and Maggie, aka Kitschy Whips, also on the Floss Tube. They are the event organizers. It took place in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was 16th through the 19th, and their guest of honor, once again, this is their third year doing this retreat. Their initial retreat had Nora Corbett, and this one as well. She returned. So yeah, when I heard she was coming back, because I missed her the first time, I made sure I took the best shot at getting into this retreat. So I'll talk a little bit about Nora in a minute. I just want to get through the hall stuff. So anyway, when I finally arrived at the hotel, which was about 20 to 30 minutes away from the airport, so I had to Uber, which was really expensive to go that far. And but when I got there, I got into my room right away, which was good. And so then I just sauntered on down to the stitching room, and as I approached, coming out into the hallway was the effervescent and wonderful Julie Rudder, who greeted me with open arms, which was delightful. I was very happy to see somebody I knew in person there right out of the gate. So anyway, I walked in and introduced myself to Maggie, and she got on the microphone to the congregation, which was already very full. And asked if anyone had an opening, and somebody raised their hand real close to the front, table 3. So that's where I went. So at table 3, I'm gonna butcher these names. I know it. So there was. I should have wrote this down. There was Sarah, I believe, to my immediate left. Then Amanda. Yeah, I think it was Amanda. Then Nora, Carmen, and I'm gonna forget the girl next to me on my right. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I'll remember it at some point, and then I'll just blurt it out. But anyway, they were lovely people. I enjoyed. We had a blast together. It seems like every retreat I go to, there's one person that makes sure they look out for me, and this time it was Carmen. She was a very nice lady, avid cyclist, which I was highly impressed with. She cycles different events all over the country, and she's actually done a complete coast-to-coast event, which blows my mind that somebody. Because she wasn't old, but she wasn't a spring chicken either. So kudos to you, Carmen. I think that's outstanding that you can do that. But yeah, she looked out for me because I have a tendency to want to nod off sometimes because I get sleepy, and I'm on a lot of meds, so I get goofy sometimes. And if I don't, especially when I'm at stitching events, and if I don't eat, my blood sugar gets low, not dangerously low or anything like that, but just low, and I kind of struggle to stay awake. So she made sure she checked up on me and made sure I was okay. So I thank you for that. That was very kind and thoughtful. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure who had these, but somebody at the table had some freebie stuff, and before they put it out for the general congregation's consumption, she passed it around the table. They passed it around, and so I took a look at it, and there was a lot of good stuff, in my opinion, good stuff, because there were a certain style that they had a lot of that they were offloading, and it was stuff that I'm very much interested in. So, and it'll become apparent as I start showing it to you. What it is why I was grabbing this stuff up. Mountain Dew. Okay, so this first one is called Genesis, from the Design Connection. You can see yeah, so it's from the book of Genesis, talking about God creating every living thing and saw that it was good. Genesis 1:21 is it's a really cool design. Something I would have considered coming up with something like that at some point. And we got a Stony Creek Seaside Fantasy, which has got some, neat little ocean-inspired designs. The whale tail, the ship in the ocean with a orca and a whale and other stuff, flamingos, manatees. I've actually seen manatees in person. I've actually touched one at a some kind of sea life museum down in Florida. What is it called? The Ponce de Leon Biological History Reserve. I don't know, but it was something Ponce de Leon. It was on the west coast of the Gulf Coast, Florida. And there's some other designs on the back. Got some, looks like sea otters or lions or something over there, and turtles, and penguins. All right, from the American School of Needlework, we got the Native American Angel. Just a really cool design. Love the Southwest stuff, because my mother's side of the family traced their roots back several generations to Cherokee Indians, which I was pleasantly surprised about, but not totally, not 100% surprised, happily, I guess, confirmed, I guess, because I knew my great-grandmother, and I always said, I was like, she looks like a little Indian woman, and it's just the way she, she carried herself and the way she looked. But her name was Effie, which I told that to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, is she Greek?" And I was like, "What?" I didn't. There was a Greek family that ran this place that I used to visit down in Baltimore City, Kirby's Grill. I guess that's the best way to put it. I told, because I was really friendly with all of them there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's my great grandmother's name." She said, "Oh, is she Greek?" And I was like, "No." So she's like, "Yeah, that's a Greek name." And I was like, "Oh, I had no idea." But anyway, so this is a dimensions booklet. I don't know that I've ever seen the dimensions booklet. I've seen dimension kits before of various, incarnations. But anyway, 3 gray wolves. My sister's ex-husband, Dave, he would like that. And then we got some natives, another dimensions booklet. It's called Native Spirit by Michael Adams. We've got a bunch of different smalls. Guy with the bow and arrow, that's funny. Like that lizard. So I guess you can probably guess what the main theme of the stuff was that I bought is all Southwest. Another Dimensions booklet. This is Southwest Carousel by Gigi Santiago. That's really pretty. Now I have to add that to my carousel collection. All right, another Dimensions booklet called Spirit of the Eagle by Sally Smith. That's a cool way to design something. Put a picture within a picture within a picture, I guess. This is from Stony Creek, called Spirit of the Southwest. Alright, and then another Dimensions booklet called Guardian Spirit by James Hemsworth, who I've talked about before on the Dimensions Charts and Charms series. I have a couple of those that he was the designer for, and he did this one. That's pretty. I was so happy to find this. It's a Black Swan Designs, which are hard to find, and it's a neat design. It's called Lily Pond Dreams, designed by Karen Weaver. Very, very elegant design. I love those wings and the border. This is called Cross-Stitch Dinosaurs by Vanessa Steele. Got three different designs there. And I'm not sure. I don't like how pale this is, but I like the design, the art. I don't know if I would try and darken it with, different colors, maybe. But it's called Pieces of Old by Mark Palomchak. Color Charts is the name of the company. But I love that, rustic farm in winter. And then this is the last of the freebies, another it's called Southwest Stitches by Leisure Arts. So yeah, I've got plenty of Southwest stuff now. And in my welcome packet to the Queen City retreat, you can see there's a picture of Nora with, well, I guess, at least she has at least one cat, and he's in the picture. But in our packet, we got the Queen City Queen, a special design just for us who attended. And you can see that. I don't mind sharing it. I don't think anybody gives a crap. I don't. That was quick enough that you couldn't possibly get anything off of it. And then we also got a Nora Corbett pattern, and I got the marigold. Simple, but lots of browns and oranges in that one. Okay. I'll get to so there were two vendors at the retreat. One was a very fun and lovely lady. Her name is Mindy Daigle. She's a seller of Mirabilia and Nora Corbett, charts and related things, like bead kits, and stuff related to those two companies, Nora Corbett and Mirabilia. So it was nice for her that she had all these bins of charts set up, and you could flip through them, like record albums. It's a good way to look at them. You don't have to struggle and whatnot. But anyway, I bought a ton because there's a lot in my collection, a lot of gaps in my collection. Because, when you think of Mirabilia, you think of fancy ladies, mermaids, and fairies. Those are the big three categories. And I have a ton of patterns by, not so many actual Nora Corbett ones, but Mirabilia ones. I have plenty of those. So anyway, I discovered that there were a lot of patterns I had never seen before, and of subject matter I didn't realize that she had any input for. So needless to say, I bought a big pile, like a stack this high. So this is the stack of just patterns that I bought. Yeah, I'm crazy, I know. And I'm going to run through them because I think it's worth mentioning some of these, because like I said, there were things that I never knew she had done. Now, of course, as many as I own, I realized very quickly flipping through that there's a lot of mermaids that I don't own. So I bought a lot of mermaids. Bluebeard Princess. Mermaids of the Deep Blue. Mermaid Perfume. Now I've seen plenty of people stitching this one, but I was fairly certain I didn't own it. I haven't confirmed that I made any mistakes on my purchases, so obviously if I did buy something I already had, then I'll have somebody will receive a free gift. But this is Lilith of Labrador. This one I really like. I just love the rich blues in it. It's a Aphrodite mermaid. This one I don't remember ever seeing this one before. But the twin mermaids. Okay, I think that's all the mermaids. All right, these, this is just one I saw that I thought was pretty that I don't remember ever seeing, and I'm pretty sure I don't own it. It's called Florentina. The Nora Fairy. Oh, yeah, some more mermaids. Madam Mermaid. This one's got a tattoo. Morgana. This is the Three Mermaids. Yeah. Love those greens. Twisted Mermaid. That's pretty. All right. Now I saw this stitched, and I think there was may have been a free giveaway for, they had a ton of giveaways for Nora stuff. And it was disappointing. I didn't win a single thing, and I put in a ton of money on tickets. So I was disappointed. I think they should do what Grace Notes does and limit, because there was a couple of people that won 2 and 3, 4 times. You know, and not everybody is able to throw money at those kind of things, you know, like some other people can. I mean, I spent a lot more than I ever did. I mean, it was to a good cause. I didn't mind donating that money to the homeless pet charity or something like that. I don't know. I have it written down somewhere. But the money, you know, giving them the money was not the problem. But, you know, like I said, some people can't afford to do that. So, you know, somebody that can put in 10 tickets and somebody can put in 200 tickets, you know, so your odds have decreased dramatically. So that's actually the first time at any retreat, and this was my fifth retreat overall that I've been to in my lifetime, and I've always won something. So it was a little disappointing. But anyway, I saw this. This is Deco Spirits. All right, and then she had a series of 4 seasonal fairies. This is the Fairy Autumn Glow. Fairy Winter Dream. Fairy Summer Love. Summer Love. And then this is the Fairy Spring Fling. Okay. Yeah, we switched gears into Nora Corbett land. Yeah, I think I only owned 1, maybe 2 Nora Corbett's in my whole collection, so the bulk of what I bought was Nora Corbett designs. This is Raven. Berry Collector. That's cute. Sunrise Laguna Mermaid. This is Mari. Cleo. And Emmy. I might have to play around with that one. Okay, so this next group of Nora designs are part of her Holiday Village collection, which I didn't know existed. I had no idea. So needless to say, I bought every different one that she had. This is the Pink Edwardian House. That's a lot of pink. This is the Gothic House. The Victorian House. Coffee House. Clockmaker's House. Bong! That'll be a fun one. And Mr. Darby's house, whoever Mr. Darby is. All right. And these next 2 are a couple of butterfly collections of Butterflies of Gold. Butterflies of the Meadow. Okay, and then she had a bunch of the reindeers, the Nora Corbett reindeers, which I've seen a few people do. I know Samantha the Hugo Stitcher has done them. I don't know if she ever managed to finish them, like, you know, put them in some kind of collage or frames or what have you, but I know she had been working on, had done most of them, if not all of them. So I'm gonna have to check out her most recent videos, because I haven't watched her in a while. So, but anyway, I bought my first one, so I got, and of course I had to get Rudolph. Christmas Eve Couriers Rudolph. Bum bum bum. So I'll hopefully get the rest of them at some point. All right, so that was all of those. Then Mindy also had some embellishment packs, and she had one for the Mirabilia Lady Hera, however you want to say it, design, which I already own. So it was nice to get all the beads in a pack, so now I don't have to hunt those down whenever the time comes. And then she also had a design which I didn't own, and she had it fully kitted with the all the specialty glosses and embellishment packs. So I got the at the Met. So there's the pattern, beautiful. And then there's the specialty flosses. I see some water lilies in there, and there's a Krynic in there, and then a bunch of beads. So all I would need is any of the DMCs or whatever else it calls for that's not in here. But that was nice to pick that up. So yeah, some of the things they did at Queen City, they had this big room, and it was divided down the middle with the raffle tables with all the stuff that you could put tickets in bags for that they would raffle off on Saturday evening. So that was I think a good design. But at the end of the table, they had a bunch of Nora's original artwork that she was selling, and some of the pieces were gorgeous. They weren't cheap. I didn't buy any because they were just enough out of my price range that I couldn't justify purchasing one of those. If I had bought nothing else the whole retreat, I could have bought one thing. But you know, I hope Nora did sell some things. I'm not sure how she did with that. But anyway, they did a Q&A with her. They also had, I'm going to forget her name. Darn it. Well, anyway, they also talked with one of the ladies there is a not designer. She's a product stitcher. Like, she would stitch something in advance before it was released, so they could have something for photography purposes. She was a model stitcher. And it was nice to talk with her, and they did a Q&A with her as well, hoping she would slip up and spill the beans on some upcoming releases, but she didn't. So that was nice. And then Q&A with Nora for, I don't know, half an hour or so, or maybe more, I don't remember. And then we all got to meet her. They would call a table up at a time, and they had a table out in the lobby set up with her, and you could get some stuff signed. I got a couple of designs signed, which I'll share with you in a minute. But anyway, yeah, she was, she's an odd woman. I would just say that, very, she seems like she has an old spirit to her, because she's my age. In fact, her birthday is on Wednesday this week. Mine is on Tuesday. So, and we're both the same year, so we're the same age. And we're both, artistic. And it'd be real interesting to be a fly on the wall to see, to go through her creative process, and because she doesn't chart her stuff. She just does the artwork, and then somebody else takes that and charts it somehow, and then I guess they give it to the model stitcher and let them do stuff to see if the charting is done well enough and to make any corrections that need to be made that way. But yeah, she's nice. She's a little quirky, but nice. Anyway, but she did announce that, she won't be doing this. She didn't say ever again, but probably for the foreseeable future. So I think she's worn down or something, because she does travel all over the world for these things. She's been to Australia and some other places, I think Europe, probably. So, all right, so the other vendor at Queen City was Oak Crown Studios, which is a fabric dyer who happens to be owned and operated by one of the two ladies that put on the event, Amy of Fiber Arts, Amy. So she had a booth there selling her Oak Crown fabrics, and I bought a few in my, my 14 count safe zone. That's my jam. That's where I like to stitch, in the 14 count. So I bought 8 pieces. So I didn't go hog wild, not like, at Grace Notes where I bought 20 plus. So I'll share some of these with you. I'll share them all with you. So this first piece is called Pages and Stitches. But it's actually pages, the number 3 stitches. So that's named after Kelly. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. And I don't want to butcher it because it could be embarrassing. But anyway, but Kelly was there, and she was lovely as she is in person, as she is on her floss tube. So it was great seeing you, Kelly. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and thank you for letting me get in with a picture with you. That was very kind. And anyway, I bought a piece of the fabric that was named for her, and it's a kind of bluish sage color. I don't know how it comes across in the camera, but and since she was there, yeah, she signed it, for me. I asked her to sign it, and maybe that embarrassed her a little bit. She's like, "Why do you want me to sign it?" I'm like, "Because it's you. It means something to me." She's one of the Floss tubers that I fell in love with from the moment I first saw her video, and then I binge watched it all in a matter of days. But anyway, so there she signed it and dated it. 20 Kelly. I can't even read what her last name is. But Pages and Stitches, 2025. So I'm gonna save this for, and this is a fat half, so it's a big piece. So I'll save it for something special, or a couple of something specials. But if I do cut it down, I'm going to make sure I use the piece with their signature on it first and foremost. All right. I can't. This is the one color I could not read what they named the color. It looks like bungee. I don't know if that's right or not, but anyway, it's a fat quarter. It's like a pale mottled purple. You know, I went with mostly neutrals. I didn't get anything too deep in color. You know, just because I want to make sure, you know, I can put just about anything on it. This one is called Barely Mist, or Barely Mint. So it's like a pale mint color, greenish tint. Doesn't really come off too well on camera there. Looks kind of washed out, but this is called Legend. This is a real pretty color. I think this might have been the first one I picked up, or one of the first ones. That's a gorgeous piece. This is Butterscotch. It's actually much richer. It does look more like butterscotch in person. The light's kind of washing it out a bit. Looks more like lemonade there, but. And then this is Autumn Glow. Again, washed out on camera, but it's kind of like a cinnamon sand color. You can kind of see it down here better. And then this is called Garden. It looks more blue on camera than it is in person. It's more of a green. It's more green in person. I'm not sure why it's washed out so badly. And then I bought this. This is a fat half of Antoinette. So this is the fabric choice for the Nora City Queen that they gave us in our booklet. So, and it's a nice like robin egg blue color, very very pretty. But I've got a fat half, so I know I can get 2 projects out of that. All right. So that was all the haul from Retreat. I still have a couple more pieces to show you. Stuff that I've got since I came home. So I got my latest Grace Notes Fabric of the Month, which this month's color is my what do you call it? Anyway, it's called Hot Chocolate. So yeah, it definitely looks like hot chocolate, and more so in person. And there's a little pretty unicorn sticker I love that. So that is a good piece of fabric right there. And then the other thing that came this week, which I was surprised when it arrived because I wasn't sure when it was coming. So it's a box. It is my first box that I purchased from Grace Notes. This is, and it's called, it's the All Things Oz mini box. So this card has some discount codes for Tiny Modernist, Satsuma Street, Little Stitcher Shop on Etsy, and Circus Stitches on Etsy. So those last two, it's 30% off, and then the first two is 20% off. So there's some good discounts there. I have to go check out their websites and see what they got good. Then in a nice Emerald City green color bag, there's, I should probably take them out, just so I can see what they are. So we got some Floss tones, floss. This is called Over the Rainbow, which, as you can see, it covers the whole rainbow of colors from purple to reddish orange. And then we got Glenda, so a pinkish color for the Good Witch of the North, was it? And then Elphaba. I don't know any of the Wicked stuff, so I'm guessing that's the name of the witch in the black costume. I love the original Wizard of Oz. I watch it almost any time I see that it's on, but I haven't succumbed to the wicked madness. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm just stuck in my old ways, I guess. There's also a little pattern, the Oz monogram, designed by Jamie Clark, which is, if you don't know, Grace Notes fabric is Corinne Simpson, and it's her sister designed this. It's just a simple little design with the Oz monogram. So that was a free pattern in there. And there's also, assuming I can get it open. There's a little Oz needle minder. And then there is the Oz, I guess, scissor fob. So it's got Dorothy and a little Toto. You can see a little Toto dog. And then what is it? Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, and then the Wizard Balloon. So that's cool. I did stitch a Wizard of Oz piece a couple years ago for one of my former coworkers, Leah Robinson slash Simek, now that she got married, but it was a wedding gift for her, and it was a cute little Wizard of Oz piece that I did for her, and it turned out really well. But I want to do the Wizard of Oz thing from. Man, my brain is just farting up a storm. Owl Forest Embroidery, they're that stitch along they had from a couple of years back, the Emerald City. I might choose to do that one and make use of the needle minder and all that good stuff. But the main attraction in this box set is the two pieces of fabric in your count of choice. Oh, and I got a cool scarecrow sticker. That's so cool. All right, so okay, so matching the color of the floss tones floss. This piece of fabric is called Glinda as well, so it's another kind of champagne pink color. And then of course the other side of that, the Afaba, I guess that's her name, I'm not sure, piece. That's a nice emerald color. So yeah, it's my first box set. The first one they did, which I'm not really sure why I didn't get it, but maybe it was, I don't know, an unknown factor. But that they did one for the Titanic, so I missed out on that one. But since I'm a Wizard of Oz fan, I figured I'd go ahead and get this one, and I'm glad I did. It's got some good stuff in there. So it'd be interesting to see what future boxes they might have in mind. So that is that. Okay, and then the last piece of haul, I actually picked up something at one of my local Goodwill stores yesterday. So my wife and I think, are starting to get into a little bit more of thrifting. Not that we haven't done it in the past, but we don't do it with any regularity. But I picked up 3 books, and one of them was a cross-stitch book. And it's a book that I've seen before and at like a freebie table or whatever, and I never picked it up for some reason. But for $1.25, I couldn't pass it up. So it's called 100 Weekend Cross Stitch Gifts. By Bernard Designs. So yeah, I'm a hardback collector of cross-stitch stuff. I got a shelf full of things that I've picked up, bought over the years. Okay, so that is all of my haul. I didn't really do much in the way of stitching. I'm not even gonna bother digging stuff out. I'm tired. I didn't sleep too well last night. But sorry, I'm just putting this stuff back down to where I can manage it. So I'm not gonna show you anything right now. So what else have I been doing? All right, we're just over an hour. That's not too bad. I thought this was going to run into like 3 hours or something, but I went through it pretty quick. All right, so you know, as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not really getting anything for, there's no return on my time investment for doing these videos. So I'm going to say that I'm not going to say I won't do any more, but I may not do it monthly. I mean, maybe my mood will change, and maybe I'll be dying to do one in a couple weeks, and then I'll just wait until my next regular scheduled video. But if you don't see one, you'll know why. That I've just kind of, I've lost motivation because I feel like I'm just operating in a vacuum. Or an echo chamber, you know, it's like, oh, well, you can only listen to yourself talk for so much until you start to lose your mind, right? So, so just be forewarned. That's I guess that's about it. So if you were a new viewer, I appreciate you, and you made it this far. I appreciate your time. I hope you'll like what you saw and give me a thumbs up or subscribe. If you're returning, well, I hope you'll comment or something. I'm not getting much in the way of that either. So, but that's the end of the cross-stitch portion of this video. The only other thing I have is I want to talk about is some books. So I had, last time I had finished, I forgot what I finished Billy Summers, the Stephen King book, and then I started Richard Chizmar's Becoming the Boogeyman, which was a sequel to his previous novel Chasing the Boogeyman, which was excellent, and they were both excellent for different reasons. Because the first book, you know, the mystery was, you know, like, well, who's killing these young girls, you know? Was it something supernatural or not, you know? But then the sequel was like, okay, well, years later, some more killings start, and all the evidence points to it being the same MO and everything as the original killer, but it couldn't be him because he's in prison. So what's going on? Well, that's what the whole book is about. It was really well done. I look forward to reading some of his other stuff that I haven't read yet. But anyway, so I'm going to show you 4 things that I've started on. This is a comic book related. It's called Superman: The War World Saga. And I bought this not that long ago. But the reason I'm reading it now is because DC started a new series called The Adventures of Superman: The Book of L, which I read, and it is revisiting events that happened in this book. So I said, well, let me put this aside because I have issue 2 over there. let me go back and read the Warworld saga, and then I'll have a better understanding of what I read in here, and maybe I'll reread this and then go on to issue 2. So, but it's been really good. So another subject that I like to read about is speculative fiction, or historical speculative fiction. I like the esoteric stuff and things about like ancient civilizations and UFOs and aliens and all kinds of weird stuff related to that. I'll share specific authors with you over time as I'm reading stuff. But today, I'm going to the book I'm going to show you is called Gray Aliens and Artificial Intelligence by Nigel Kerner. This is actually the 3rd book in a series that he's written about this subject matter. But it's okay to read them out of order according to him. He said it doesn't matter. It's been interesting so far. Basically, he's looking at the argument for gray aliens, which are the most common in people who have said that they've been abducted by aliens and are experimented upon in their spacecraft. As the most common ones were these gray aliens, these short little big bulb. Well, there's a picture of it right there. So that's the common gray alien that is described. So this author is positing that that they are actually artificial creatures, meaning they're lifelike robots that are operating with an artificial intelligence, and so that is explaining why that gives them a reason to do what they're doing, because a lot of speculation over the decades has been, well, why are they abducting people and experimenting on them, medically and physically? He talks about that in here, that because they're artificial beings, they're trying to learn about us as humans and why we are the way that we are, because maybe the gray aliens are looking for that missing piece, a soul, or the spark that makes us human, that they don't have. I assume that's his final argument. So it's an interesting read so far. Then another one I'm starting is, this is not fiction, this is actual stuff that's happening in the world. It's called The Great Reset by Glenn Beck. It's about things that are going on in the world that most people don't know about. The move towards something called the Great Reset, where the workings of politicians and governments around the world, not just in the U.S., they're working towards creating a one world government with a unified currency, and people not being allowed to own property, and that it's a very fascist, communist Marxist ideology that they're working towards, and it's happening by bits. We're giving away freedom by bits and pieces, and it may happen. Well, depending on what happens in the world. I know there's a lot of fluff in social media and the mega corporation news channels that would lead you to believe that Donald Trump is doing his best to not only destroy individuals but us as a country and then by fault the world, because if the U.S. falls, the world falls. That's just plain simple. We basically, the world revolves around us. So if something bad happens to the U.S., the rest of the world will try and eat our carcass. It's a bizarre way of saying it, but it's true. So anyway, but I think things are moving in the right direction. It seems like things of the world are coming along. So, and certain people are doing their best to slow that progress by him. But unless there's some kind of weird thing that happens that I can't imagine, it's going to continue down this road, even beyond Trump, because he won't be able to run for president again. But I can guarantee you, he's going to pull an Obama and be behind the scenes working with whoever gets elected, because it will be another Republican that gets elected president, I think, for the foreseeable future. Because America is not going to stand for this liberal bullshit that Democrats, are trying to shove down people's throats. They've lost so many voters. They think they lost badly last time. They're going to lose even worse the next election come 2028. So, yeah. But anyway, Glenn Beck, he's a great American. I love listening to his show on the interwebs. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. I love him. And then lastly, just going back to fiction now, Steve Berry, his book, The Venetian Betrayal. So Steve Berry, he's written, 20 plus novels, and as far as I know, they all involve what I call historical fiction. So he bases his stories in real places on the earth, and he weaves in actual historical events within the story somehow, either as flashbacks like in this one, because this one starts off with crap, I'm gonna forget. Shoot. Troy. Achilles. I totally got brain farted on it. Let's see if this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Alexander the Great. It starts off with him and the death of his closest confidant and friend, and it jumps back and forth between that and modern times with his main character. His name is Cotton Mather, he's named after that famous one, but I always forget what his thing was. But anyway, yeah, the series has been good. This is book 4, I think, 3 or 4 in the series. So I've read the first 2 or 3, and he's a really good action writer. Kind of reminds me of a kind of a Jack DeBrule or Clive Cussler type of adventure fiction with mixed in with the historical stuff. It's really good. So Steve, I love you, man. You're good. You're excellent. So that's what I'm reading right now. I don't know how quickly I'll get through all these between now and whenever I get decided to do a next video, whenever that might be. But yeah, I got some interesting stuff on the horizon that I want to get to. So, but I'd like to finish these up if possible. All right. So that's it for now. I'm about almost a minute 27. So an hour 27 minutes. So that's it for now. Until next time, whenever that might be, I wish you all, I guess, have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care. Keep on stitching and reading. Bye.